2 decades after being ripped apart by genocide, Rwanda is experiencing an economic resurgence fueled by its newfound focus on technology. The World Bank has contributed to this technological transformation through its eRwanda project. Samia Melhem, who joins us now, is a GW alumna and is also the lead Information and Communication Technology, or ICT, specialist at the World Bank. She also oversaw the eRwanda team and its many projects, including its work to introduce technology to the country's agrarian sector. She joins us now to discuss how mobile technology is changing the lives of female Rwandan farmers and the country as a whole. So Samia, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for having me.
So I want to start very briefly. What is eRwanda?
eRwanda is a project that was planned in 2005 when nobody had heard about mobile phones in Rwanda. Less than 0.2% of the population had access to mobile phones. And it had two purposes. The first one was to help government decentralize, improve communication flow between the central government in Kigali and the 30 provinces through the use of ICTs, or information communication technologies, but also provide useful application for the citizens, as well as capacity building, training them in how to use technology to improve their lives.
So one of the main focuses was working on introducing females to the use of technology. And is this something that was new for the eRwanda project?
That was absolutely new. In fact, that was very new to World Bank ICT projects. We haven't really thought about this till early 2000, when we started to look at our research and noticed the big gap, what we call the gender digital divide, in a lot of the projects we were financing. We noticed that unless you really made a concerted effort to include women in all these capacity building efforts, in distributing equipment to them, including them in classes, accrediting them for use of ICTs, they were not going there.
All right, so let's look at sort of one of the major projects of the eRwanda program, which was the use of mobile phones and integrating, specifically speaking, women to the mobile phone. First off, how much do these phones cost?
They don't cost that much. If you get the simple Nokia phone, it's around $20 to $22.
Now, was the World Bank distributing them, or were they purchasing them themselves?
Most of them were being purchased by the Rwandans. What we purchased for them is free minutes, so that they could experiment with SMS. We were afraid that they would not want to invest in SMS before.
That's texting.
Right, correct. Texting, simple text messages. And we purchased in bulk minutes for those that participated with us in the experiments around Isoko.
And Isoko was one of the agrarian apps that you described it as a local eBay. What did you mean by that?
Basically, Isoko is an agricultural marketplace. It exists in the Ministry of Agriculture, which is the big champion.
It's one of the largest sectors, if not the largest
economic
sector
in Rwanda. Most people in Rwanda live from agriculture, and 60% of the farmers are women. Men tend to go to the cities and adopt other jobs, construction, different type of work. Women stay in the villages and tend to the farms. They're the ones who are producing the tea, the coffee, the maize, the rice. So that application is of great help to the farmers, in particular to women, because what it does is it surveys all the prices of all crops in all the markets, the major markets in Rwanda, more than 100 markets.
Say I wanted to sell coffee, and I was a coffee grower and I just harvest. I would take out my phone, wouldn't necessarily be an iPhone, and what would I do?
You type a short text which takes you to Isoko, and then you'll have a menu. You'll have a menu of all these markets. You'll put the number of the market you're interested in, and you'll put the number of your crop. Your crop has a code, let's say tomato, bean, etc. And then you will see the price. You can go to another market and see the same price, and then you will make that decision. Where do I want to sell that? You can also text the contact at these markets and see if there is a need for a different crop that you may have. You can do that well ahead of time. The prices are updated on a daily basis.
Looking a little more specifically, how is this helpful for female farmers?
Female farmers, before the event of this instant access to information, had to either physically go and get that information in the market, and then it was kind of too late to change your mind.
Travel time.
Exactly. A lot of transport, expensive. They don't own trucks. A lot of them don't. So it's going to be walking or using another means. It's not only crops, by the way, it's also pesticide. You want to get pesticide, you want to buy fertilizers. A lot of it is heavy, needs some planning. So knowing in advance the prices, the location, the availability. Maybe you're going somewhere to fetch a product that no longer is there, has helped save a lot of time, a lot of transport, and has increased the quality of life for a lot of these villagers.
A lot of these women, in addition to running the farms themselves, they have to tend to their children or raise their babies. How is the app helping in terms of reducing time consumption?
Most of the women we're talking about have several kids, 4 to 5 on average, have to tend to that, have to tend to their health, their education. And if you could save every day 2 to 3 hours, imagine what you could do to spend more time with them, spend a little bit more time educating them, educating yourself. Sometimes you go to these villages and you see a little tomato stand and you're seeing women with their cell phone, you know, trying to find out what's going on in that little province, going on the website. It has helped a lot increase the education and the awareness of where that person is compared to the bigger country, compared to the continent, compared to the world.
Economically speaking, how is this benefiting them?
It has helped save a lot of time. It has helped sell the crops at a better price. And from what we're hearing anecdotally from them is increase in terms of household income anywhere between 10 to 20% a month, which is significant.
Women are still, a large population are illiterate. They can't necessarily read what's on these apps, even if they have access to them. There's experience skills. They don't know how to use these new mobile apps. So how are you, as the World Bank and the eRwanda project, how are you breaking down some of these barriers?
When I hear my clients, when I visit Rwanda, when I go to the markets and I talk to women, a lot of them need interpreters because they don't understand English, so they're speaking Kenyan Rwandan. What I think the mobile phone gave them is an appetite to learn, an appetite to make sure their own daughters and sons are not illiterate. So what we're seeing is an increased demand for basic education. What we're also seeing is the younger generation who learns much faster, the teenage girls, the teenage boys, trying to make a concerted effort to help their parents. And some of the things we're doing in Rwanda specifically, perhaps not through the mobile apps and Isoko, but through the telecenters, 30 of them that we have helped finance.
What is a telecenter?
So imagine these villages where you don't have power in every household, but you have a common access center, like a big community center with 3, 4 big rooms, with a bathroom, with a little library, and with power, where you can fax if there's a need. You can take digital pictures, and you have little stations where you can send email, but you can also participate in community learning classes based on the demand from the community. You need to learn Excel, most of it, to manage your crops, to see what is your return on investment. You want to learn how to use email, you want to learn how to do Word, you want to learn English. There's lots of CDs there on how to learn different languages. And what we have been making a concerted effort in is having classes for women, dividing them by age, by literacy. You have the moms, you have the younger kids, just to make sure that they are in a more familiar environment, because what we're finding is in a lot of countries, female learn better together, better than if they are mixed in a co-ed type class. So we're having classes for women, and we find that the older women who are the most resistant to technology because they have the most fear in them are learning best that way.
Have they been able to overcome some of these language learning, technological experience barriers? Are they able to overcome those successfully?
I would say not yet.
Not yet.
I'd give it, for Rwanda, I'd still give it a 4 out of 10. There's still a lot to go. Don't forget, this takes time, and it will take decades to change the paradigm. What the country is doing, which is wonderful, is they're really focusing on education, on basic education, and they're making sure it's an inclusive education. I know that in their education policy, there is a special focus on young women. There's an adolescent girl initiative for education. They're trying to encourage women to go to university, to delay a little bit, getting married too early. And we're seeing all over the world that these are the best policies to improve development. If they continue on this trajectory they're in without delay, without, with good luck, and with good intent and all working together, because it's a society that is very mobilized around that development agenda. So if they're not encountering delays or little hiccups here and there, I think they're on a good trajectory.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Samia.
Thank you so much, Kevin. Thank you for having me here.